Fenway, look. You see? Do you see yourself? Nope. I don't even know if dogs can see on the computer. Fenway, look. Look. Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Hi. Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Do you want to get down? You want to get down? Okay, go get your ball. There you go. Hey, Flosstube. That was my dog. That was Fenway. He just got neutered 2 days ago, and apparently he does not understand what taking it easy means. So I just had to let him outside because he's a wild man. I'm Lena. I feel like I need to introduce myself again because it has been, I think, 7 months since my last video. But I'm back. Pretty excited. It actually has not been 7 months since I filmed my last video, just 7 months since I posted my last video. I filmed one, I think it was November, and I spent a week trying to get that down to download, and it never did. And then after a week, I don't know, I quit. And then I think I filmed another one, maybe it was like February or March, and then I deleted it. I don't know why. I film these things and then I'm like, no, and then I delete them. So I have decided that once I'm done filming this video, I'm not watching it. It's just being uploaded and whatever. So that's how I'm going to do it. Not that I edit my other videos. If you've seen my other videos, they're not edited. But I am not going to delete it. I'm just going to post it. Yeah, with all the ums and ahs and interruptions and whatever. There shouldn't be too many interruptions because I'm home alone with the dog. But, yeah. I am as disorganized as ever. So I'm trying to see how to proceed. Okay. I will start with just things that I've done since I last saw you. Most of this stuff, I don't think you've seen. If you have, I don't know, it's been 7 months. I don't remember. I only have a few finishes, and that is because my stitchy bug took a hiatus for a few months. So we'll talk about that later. I have a couple of finishes. One I'm going to show you in a picture because I don't actually have it. It was a gift. Let me pull it up. So I have a doctor that I work with who's a friend of mine who was diagnosed with a cancer. I want to say it was in October maybe. And I decided to stitch him this. He actually has it hanging in his office right now. And that is the, if you can see that, the Lizzie Kate Time for God. This is actually, I think, the 3rd time I've stitched this. But I stitched that for him. And hopefully I can show you the finished project. I stitched it and had it framed. I'm not hugely impressed with the framing job, but I have really limited options here in Podunk, Maine. We don't have any. My nearest LNS is about 2 hours away, and they don't do any framing or anything like that. So you're pretty much dependent on Michael's, Hobby Lobby. I know we have a Joann's about 45 minutes away, but I don't think they do framing. So it's basically Michael's and Hobby Lobby, unless you go probably Portland, which is about an hour and a half away. I'm sure they have framing shops. They don't have any LNSs. I think the only LNS in Maine is, yeah, the one that's about 2 hours away. So anyway, I did that on the other half of this very wrinkly piece of fabric that I got from Picture This Plus. It's earthen, 32 count earthen Lugana. I had purchased a fat half of this when I decided to redo my sister's bride's tree ornaments. What's her name? Brooks Books bride tree ornaments. And I think I had talked about that in my last video because I think it was after her wedding that I recorded that. And I had been stitching the bride's tree ornaments on that really loose weave linen that I hated. So I did, since we were talking about that, I'll just go ahead and bring this up. It's not a finish, but I'm not organized. So I do, if anybody sees these, I do keep my projects. What is that? Oh. This is going to be my mother-in-law's ornament. I haven't even started that. It's just in the wrong bag. So these little bags, I think, who did I see a video recently? Running Stitch. She had a bag very similar to this. It might even be the same company that makes it. Hers were, I think, blue at the top and had like a blue pull on it. She got hers from the Container Store. I get mine from Staples. And these are kind of cool. I'm going off subject again. These are kind of cool because they actually come with a little bag with it. And so what I do with the little bag is I keep the thread that I take off, and sometimes I'll keep a thread heaven and sometimes my needle minder, stuff like that. So it's kind of nice to have the little bag inside the big bag. So anyway, it's a bag. So I've slowly started to buy a couple of those here and there to start putting my active projects in. So the other fat half of fabric I bought was the earthen Lugana. The one I ended up going with because it was a little bit more neutral. That one that has almost like a pink tone to it. And this one is more of a beigey tone, like a true neutral, which I thought would look good with the ornaments. This is Legacy, also 32 count Lugana. The previous linen that I did was a 28 count, but I thought the ornaments, when they were stitched and made, would be maybe a little bit big for a tree, although these aren't really significantly smaller. And yeah, fat half is way too much fabric, but I didn't want to not have enough. So the first two that I worked on, I think I started all of these, it would have been in late October, early November. So the first one I did is this pine cone, and I think it means eternity. And this one is completely done with the exception of the beads. I don't want to put the beads on until I have all the ornaments done, because I want to cut them out, and then I bead by hand. In my extensive beading experience, which has been like one project, I just bead by hand. So that's the first one. That means eternity. This is the second one. Maybe it means love. I'd have to look it up. I thought this was done other than the beads when I moved on to the third ornament. And then I realized that I haven't done any of the back stitching. Let me see if I have a picture. I don't have the front pictures. I left them at my office. Yes. Okay, that means faithfulness. And I don't have the picture and I can't show you the chart. So, but anyway, there is some back stitching kind of in between these little things, and some back stitching on the leaves that I didn't do. So it's not done as I originally thought it was when I moved on. Don't you love watching people fold fabric? It's my favorite. Okay, I'm getting there. So then I did this one, which was actually really fun. And this is done as well, except for the back stitching and the beads. But I ended up moving on to this one because this is when we started the new... This one I started January 1st for like New Year, New Start. But so this one, yeah, is done except for the back stitching and beads. And then New Year, New Start, and like the Christmas all year round and all that stuff. If you can't tell, this is Santa Claus, the lower half of Santa Claus. I'm not sure why Santa has a teapot or a bunny rabbit, but they're really cute. So I don't have the top half done. Yeah, this is, I think I was in the middle of working on this when my stitchy bug left. But those, so anyway, those are the first 4. And I love stitching on this compared to the other one. I'm really enjoying, well, I say I was really enjoying stitching these. And now that I have it pulled out, he's kind of calling to me again. But yeah, so those are the first 4. My original goal was to have them done by their wedding, which obviously didn't happen because I scrapped it. And then it was to have it done by their first anniversary, which I could theoretically... That's not going to happen either. I think what I'll do is since the first 4 are all in a line and I'm kind of from one edge of the fabric to the other, I could actually finish those 4 and cut them out and bead them and turn those into ornaments, and definitely get those done by their first anniversary. And then, so maybe by like 4 by their first anniversary, 4 by their second, and 4 by their third. Yeah, I don't know, whatever. But those are the bride's tree ornaments that I kind of interrupted my flow with. I'll put that over there. So let's go back to finishes. I started a project. Oh, I started this Mania during Mania last year. And my goal was to finish it before January 1st. I didn't. I think, oh, I actually wrote it down. I actually finished it. Okay, I guess I didn't write down when I finished it. I thought I did. Okay, I didn't write down the date that I finished it, but I did write down up here that I finished it in January of 2017. This was my work project, so I took it, I kept it at work and I just stitched on it there. And it's the Lizzie Kate Dog Lessons for People. And this is actually the first project I have ever completed without a goal in mind, which means stitching it for somebody else. So this is the only reason I still have it, is because I didn't stitch it for anybody in mind. But, yep, there it is. So this is on 28 count Earth and Lugana, which is interesting because if you look at this piece, the reason I ordered this is because you see how neutral this is? And then, like, you see this in comparison. I don't know if you can see the difference. Can you see the difference? Like, this is really pink and this is more tan. So when I ordered this piece, I was thinking I was going to get this, but obviously different dye lots and different counts and stuff. You know, I'm not upset by it or anything, but yeah. So I got that. I still don't know what exactly I'm going to do with it. I have a dog. I'm a dog person. I'm a new dog person. I never thought I was a dog person, but I don't know. That's the first finished object that I don't know what I'm doing. And that's okay, because a lot of you have like boxes and boxes of finished objects. So that is finish number 2. I have one more. So this was I started this in January as well. This was part of the color of the day series, and that Stitch Mania does. And then I also incorporated it into like the color weekend thing from, what's the other group I'm in? We'll look. Color weekend with, I can't read my abbreviations, but I think it's Stitch from Stash. Color weekend. So I started this because January was garnet or red. So I started this then, obviously, because it's red. And it came with a magnet. I'm not going to use that, but I'm going to use the extra beads I have and stitch a little hanger for it. And this is an ornament for my father-in-law. So I'm going to give him that for Christmas. And then this one's going to be for my mother-in-law. And so this will be just part of their like pre-Christmas presents. Because my mother-in-law, I mean, I like coffee. I appreciate coffee. I enjoy coffee. My mother-in-law drinks it like from the time she wakes up to the time she goes to bed. Like, she'll drink a cup of coffee and then go to bed. So she truly loves coffee. Okay. So those are all the finishes I've gotten. So now I'll show you some stuff I'm working on. Okay, let me interrupt myself. So my goal in 2017, and I think I may have even talked about it on Stitch Mania, was that I was gonna participate in all these sales, and I had like all this stuff lined up for the year. I was gonna be organized. I bought this planner. This planner is completely devoted to my cross stitching because I don't plan anything else. So like end of December, I filled this out for January. You can't read anything on here, but so for each day I was going to put what project I was going to work on. And then later I kind of filled in the days I didn't stitch so I could kind of remember or look back and see which days I didn't stitch. So for January, I started the Santa ornament. I worked on my butterfly effect. I did the tractor. And then for my New Year, New Start, I started Pretty Little New York, which I'm working on right now. Let me take it off the Q-snaps because this is the one I'm actively working on. And this I started with the idea of completing for my stepmother's birthday, which is next week. I might, if I work really hard, get done with this by her birthday, which I'm going to. I'm really going to try to get it done for her birthday because I'm going to frame it myself. Oh, Pretty Little New York. So most of you know what Pretty Little New York is. It's patterned by Satsuma Street. My stepmother is from Brooklyn. Grew up there. Lived there her whole life. Well, not her whole life because she doesn't live there now, but until she went to college. So this is what I have done right now. So I am about maybe just over halfway done with it. So this building right here is Freedom Tower, which is right here. This is, let's see, I think this is Empire State Building. I think this is the Chrysler Center, Brooklyn Bridge, obviously Statue of Liberty. That one's my favorite. Helps if I... Statue of Liberty came out really well. She's really pretty. And you got like my little taxi cab down there. This little yellow blur right there is going to be a lion. So my goal is still to get this done by next week for her birthday. But I started that in January for New Year, New Start. So anyway, back to this. So for January, I did great. There's 31 days in January. There were only 3 days that I did not stitch. I started 3 new projects and I had 1 finish. So for me, that was like absolutely phenomenal. That was like an A+ stitching month. So for February, towards the end of January, these are all like the different SALs for the different groups that I belong to. Stitch from Stash, Stitch Mania. I'm trying to figure out what SS is. Soulful Stitching. So I filled all those out. And then I filled them all out on my month of February. And then I think I stitched February 1st and 2nd. And then I stopped. I pretty much stopped stitching from the beginning of February until about a week and a half ago. Did literally no stitching whatsoever. My stitchy bug was gone, flew out the window, was not there. It's nice that it's come back. It seems to have come back with a vengeance, so hopefully I can catch up on things. But as of right now, I have not gone back to planning or SALs or anything like that. I'm not doing Stitch Mania this year other than to watch and cheer from the sidelines, because it's not that my stitchy bug is wavering. Like, I'm really enjoying stitching, but I can't I'm not at the point where I'm ready to commit to things ahead of time. So, I mean, right now, obviously, I'm working on this. I'm actively trying to get that done. And then it's going to be like what's next in line, as opposed to trying to plan for the month or the next month. At least for right now, that does not work for me. Because I think I get a little bit overwhelmed or anxious, and then I end up not stitching at all. So just for right now, we're just gonna play it by ear. I have made another important decision in my stitching life. So let me find the picture. So this, oops, try that again. Hold on, I'll get there. So this is a heaven and earth design called Butterfly Effect. And my daughter picked this out probably 2 years ago as something she wanted me to stitch her. And I started it January 1st, 2016 on 25 count white Lugana, 1/1 full crosses. So, since January 1st, 2016, this is what I've gotten done. So, to try to explain this, so from here over is part of a page, from here over here, from here over here is part of a page, and from here to here up is part of a page. So this whole thing probably encompasses maybe just over 1 page worth of work. And I don't really like it. You can't tell on the picture, but I don't like the way the black is covering. And this is a common complaint with DMC black, is that it doesn't tend to, or the dark colors in general, but I really just see it with the black, that it's not good coverage. And then this right here is number 4 Krennic. And I mean, all of this is Krennic. You can hear it. And I don't like that. It's too thick for the holes. And there's a lot of like pushing from the holes are kind of pushed, and my stitches look bad. So anyway, so I don't really like this, but I do really like the pattern. And also, so another reason why I find this frustrating, I did not realize why I was finding this frustrating until actually I started watching Blitz Stitch. So Brian at Blitz Stitch, the way he stitches his projects from bottom up and left to right. I am one of the few stitchers that I have seen who, when I stitch, I come up in a top hole and I go down into a bottom hole and then come up. So I come up from the top and go to the bottom. If I'm doing one complete X, I come up top left, go to bottom right, come up top right, go to bottom left. And I don't know if it's just because I'm self-taught. I I mean, I think most of us are self-taught, but that's just how I do it. I thought it was because I was left-handed, but it seems like a lot of you are left-handed and you still stitch coming up from the bottom going to the top. So for me, when I stitch, so a lot of you stitch from the top of a pattern going down, especially these heaven and earth designs. You go from top left and you go down. But for me, it's, I like my stitches, it's easier for me to stitch from the bottom up because of the way I come up from the top hole, if that makes sense. And so because I started in the direct middle of the pattern and try to work my way down, and then with this Krennic, of all the pages, this one was actually the easiest to do. Anyway, where I'm going with this is that I'm starting this over again. I actually just went ahead and ordered another piece of white Lugana, 25 count, and I am going to start I'm literally going to start at the bottom of the pattern, which is these little colorful drips. So I'm going to start at the bottom, and so split stitch starts from the bottom left and works up. I'm actually going to start from the bottom right and work my way up and left, because I come up in the top left hole and go down in the bottom right. I just think it's going to make the stitching enjoyable. I mean, for a lot of these other patterns, I do start in the middle and work my way out, and I haven't seemed to have an issue with it other than this full coverage piece, which this is really the first full coverage piece I've done. So maybe that's why I'm having more trouble with it. I mean, the ornaments and stuff, those technically are the actual ornament is full coverage, but you're doing 2 strands over 2 holes. You've got a lot more space to work with, whereas when you're dealing with 25 count, it's a much smaller space, much smaller hole. And also, so the one change I'm doing is I'm starting from the bottom right, working my way up and to the left. I ordered Anchor Black, and I'm doing all the black with Anchor Black, which a majority of the people I hear talk about it think that it gives better coverage. And then I've also replaced the Krennic thread with Petite Treasure Braid. So I'm going to try that to see if I like it better, if it distorts the fabric a little bit less. It might be the exact same, in which case I'll just have to deal with it, because I'm definitely not starting it a third time. And I really do like the pattern. I like the pattern. I want to stitch it. I want to get it done. Will I do a whole lot more full coverage stitching? I don't know. We'll see how this goes. But so I've ordered that from 123 Stitch. That is on its way. I have that coming, the thread, the Petite Treasure Braid, and I will start that relatively soon. I also have a baby announcement kit that's coming from 123 Stitch that I have to start working on. But my goal with this butterfly effect is to have it done by my daughter's 16th birthday. Which, just the idea of her turning 16 kind of terrifies me. But so she is 13 now. She turns 14 in September, which gives me 2 years to finish that project, which sounds like an eternity. It sounds like an eternity, but I calculated the number of stitches, and I don't remember what the calculation was, but I divided it into like daily stitching, and it ends up coming up to like 350 stitches a day for 2 years. Now, I can already tell you that there's no way I can do 350 stitches per day for 2 years on one project. That's not going to happen. First of all, a lot of times I don't even get 350 stitches per day, period. So how am I going to accomplish this? My goal is that the times I am working on it, I'm doing it in such a way that I'm getting large amounts of stitching done to make up for the fact that I'm not going to be stitching it 350 stitches per day for 2 years. So I have decided, because I'm going to the Flosstube, what is it? The Flosstube like retreat. That's what it is. So I'm going to the Flosstube retreat in Austin in October. And I have this deluded idea in my head that I'm actually going to get a lot of stitching done. I'm preparing myself for the reality that all I'm going to be doing is gawking at all my favorite floss tubers that I like. But in my head right now, I'm thinking this is going to be the perfect opportunity to get a large amount of stitching done. I'm not going to have my kids. I'm not going to have my husband. I'm not going to have housework to do. I'm not going to be going to work. So I am just bringing this project so that I am not tempted to do a lot of, I'm going to work on this, I'm going to work on this. So I'm just bringing the butterfly effect, and then I'm bringing one smaller project because there's no way I can work on butterfly effect like on the plane or in the airport. It's just too big. So I'm going to bring that to work on at the retreat. And I'm actually staying an extra day. I'm not flying back till Monday because I thought, well, there's no way I can fly all the way to Austin and not take the time to see some different things in Austin. So Sunday afternoon, I'm probably going to be doing a lot of sightseeing, but then Sunday evening, I'll be stitching as well. So I'm super, super excited to go to Austin. Super excited to meet all my favorite floss tubers. Super excited to stitch and see people stitching. So I think that's it. Oh, no, I have a little bit of haul. It's actually, this really isn't haul. I'm doing the Stitch from Stash this year, which, considering that my stitchy bug has been gone, I obviously haven't been buying that much. So up until this past week, I've done really good. I think I had only given myself like $10 a month to spend anyway, because I do have a good amount. I don't have a large stash, but I have an adequate stash for what I need. And I have enough projects I'm working on. So I did Stitch from Stash. I completely blew my entire savings. And I think I'm in the hole by around like $30 right now. But I have not counted that little ornament that I finished, which I think will give me like, $3. But I'm definitely going to be finished with this by June for sure. So that'll give me some. And 3 of those Bride Street ornaments are almost done. So I'm going to make up the money. But anyway, so the point of that whole story was that I haven't bought a lot of stash, but these are just a couple things. I did prior to January 1st, pre-order all the Brooks Books princess dresses. Oops. So that is Snow White. That is Cinderella. That one is Belle. And then I have the other one at work for some reason. Somehow it got in my work bag. So I bought those. I also get the Under the Sea fabric of the month. Oh, which I forgot to tell you guys. So my Pretty Little New York. This is actually my first hand-dyed fabric that I'm using. So I think I've been ordering for, it has to be almost a year now. It has to be about a year now that I've been ordering. And this is the first piece of fabric I've actually used. So this is 32 count Lugana in Beach Walk by Under the Sea Fabrics. And because this is a smaller pattern, I'm stitching this on half. You can see this is a fat quarter, but you'll be able to see, I can fit this whole thing on one half of it. So yeah, so I'm kind of excited because this is the first piece that I've used. But yeah, so I get her fabric of the month. This was my Christmas gift from my husband. And I wish I could remember who I saw stitching this. I don't remember. Because it was obviously before Christmas. I had to have seen it in October. And if you stitched this and you showed this in a video sometime last year that I saw, and you're watching this, comment down below because I apologize, but I don't remember. But I do remember seeing this and immediately searching everywhere I could to find the pattern. And I found it, I think, on Etsy, and my husband bought it for me for Christmas. So I collect nativities. I think I probably mentioned that on a previous video, but I collect nativities, and I saw somebody stitch this. This is the Heirloom Nativity Sampler from the Victoria Sampler. And I saw this pattern and immediately I was like, I have to have that. So he ordered the kit for me, which was not cheap. And I think, look, I haven't even looked through the book, but it was not a cheap kit. I want to say it was maybe $80 or $90. But it includes everything, I think, except for some pearl cotton that you need. I think pearl cotton is the only other thing you need to get. So my husband got it for me. You can see the thread packs in there and the fabric. Here's what happened though. So it came in this plastic envelope. Everything came in this plastic envelope. And then it must have come in another envelope, like a mailing envelope. And my daughter was wrapping presents and opened the envelope with a pair of scissors. She sliced through the book, which, okay, it's not a huge deal. I can still I can still, oh, can't show you the pattern. I can still see the pattern. I can still read everything. I can still see the instructions. That's not a huge deal. But she also sliced through the fabric. And she felt really, really bad about it. And it's not like it's through the top, because this was folded. It's like through, so it's got like a hole up here, a hole here, a hole through the bottom. So I think rather than risk it, that the design is going to be too close, I'm just going to end up, before I stitch this, which is not going to be anytime really soon, I just have to order a new piece of fabric. So it's not a huge deal. But I'm just going to order a new piece of fabric just to make sure that there won't be any issues stitching on it. So I love it. I'm a little nervous to start stitching it, which is probably why it's going to be a little while, because up until now, the only specialty stitches I've done are like, I've done Lazy Daisies, but I did Lazy Daisies on perforated paper. I haven't done a Lazy Daisy on actual fabric yet. I've done French knots, which I don't like doing. I replace those with beads. And like long stitches and back stitches. Those are the only specialty stitches I've done. And this is lots of specialty stitches and hardanger. So before I actually do that, I think I'm going to practice some of the specialty stitches and the hardanger on just scrap fabric, because I'm super paranoid, especially about the hardanger. Super paranoid about stitching this whole thing and then getting down to the hardanger and then like ruining it. So I think when I do this project, I'm actually going to start from the bottom and work my way up. And then that way, if I mess up on the hardanger, I won't have stitched the entire piece first. So I think that really is it this time. I'm looking. Oh. Well, I actually had another new start. Sorry. You keep thinking this is over, and it's not. Well, because you keep thinking it, because I keep telling you. So, I don't even remember when I started this. This must have been like October or November as well. I think I just wanted to do a new start, because I was watching other people do new starts. And I had this kit in my stash. So I decided to stitch it. It's Bothy Threads, the like spring tree. And I had this piece of fabric that I had gotten from the LNS in Ocala from Brick City Stitching, like a long time ago, well over like a year or 2 years ago. I don't have the tag anymore. It was a specific fabric for another pattern that I gave away, but I kept the fabric. So it's just like a nice blue. The kit did come with fabric, but it came with Aida, and I don't prefer Aida anymore. So this is a Jobelin. And so I started, you can see, this is the tree trunk in like a silver metallic, and then this is the grass and the flowers. So I started this, and it looks like it must be 28 count, because the stitches are a little bit bigger than my 32 count. I don't know why I'm getting so picky. But, so these stitches with the regular DMC, or I don't, it's the floss that comes with the Bothy kit. I don't think that it's DMC, but anyway, it's the kit floss. Look fine. But this metallic thread that came with the Bothy kit, and I don't know if you'll be able to see it. This metallic thread, as I'm stitching with it, it's stretching out the holes. So I can see the holes, which usually mean that your tension is too tight, but my tension doesn't appear to be tight on the regular thread. So I stopped there because what I'm thinking about doing is I'm either going to take like a corner of the fabric and do some stitches with a different type of metallic. I may get like a petite treasure braid or a krennic and try stitching with that, because I like the look of the metallic. Sorry, you didn't hear that, but that was my rooster. My rooster is being loud outside. Can you hear it? He's really loud. I have a loud, obnoxious rooster, and I have 9 hens, a loud rooster, and I can stop holding this. We just actually hatched 7 eggs. He's so loud. 7 baby chickens. So this is completely off the subject, but this is my like country life. So we got hens last year. We got 6 hens, or no, I'm sorry. We got 6 baby chicks a little bit over a year ago, raised them from little babies. Luckily they all ended up being hens, because if you may not know, if you don't have chickens, but you either want all hens or you want 1 rooster. Unless you live on a big farm where you have a lot of hens, because you need a lot of hens per rooster or the roosters start to fight. So we had 6 baby chicks, which all end up being hens. We live on 10 acres, so they free range. And they did great until late summer. And then we think a hawk got 3 of our hens. So then we were down to 3, and then we were all panicked. We wouldn't let them free range anymore. We ended up buying 6 more, let's call them teenage chickens. They weren't fully grown because they weren't laying eggs yet, but they were teenagers. So they were pre-egg laying. So we got those, and so then we had 9 hens. And so we get about usually 8 eggs per day. So then late in the fall, a friend of mine had what she thought was a hen that ended up being a rooster. And so she couldn't keep it because her rooster was beating up the new rooster. And we didn't have a rooster, so we're like, yeah, we'll take it. It's free. And because we had already lost 3 hens to a predator, roosters tend to protect the flock. I don't know that they actually protect the flock, as they make a lot of noise, so that if the predator is around, it gives the hens a chance to hide. And then if anybody's going to get eaten, it's going to be the rooster. I mean, not nice, but it's better than your egg-laying chickens getting eaten. So we have him, and let's just say he is a very active rooster. there's a lot of action happening between our rooster and our 9 hens. So this spring, but our hens, because they're breeded for laying eggs, are not very like maternal in nature. So they don't sit on their eggs. So when they sit on their eggs, it's called brooding. If they're sitting and they're hatching their own eggs. This is a Flosstube video. Now it's a like how to raise chickens video, but I think it's kind of fun, and it's my video, so we're gonna talk about it. So anyway, so we bought an egg incubator, a little round egg incubator. It holds 7 eggs. It's automatic. You literally like plug it in. It keeps it at the perfect temperature. It like rotates the eggs around because you can't, like, the eggs can't just like sit in one place. They gotta spin, they gotta rotate for the baby chicks to grow. So basically, you buy this incubator and you just go out and you just pick 7, or for us, ours is 7. So you just pick 7 random fresh eggs. So obviously you want eggs that are like laid that day, because if they're fertilized, which I'm going to be honest, unless you buy your eggs from the store, if you have farm fresh eggs, there's a chance, and you have a rooster, there's a chance they're probably fertilized. But if you take them out of the nest right away and you put them in the refrigerator, you're never going to know they're fertilized. I mean, it looks like an egg. But so you take the fresh egg, you put it in the incubator. It has it at like 99 degrees, whatever. And it has to be, you have to keep water in there. It's got to be the right humidity. It's got to be like this egg was parked under a chicken butt for 3 weeks. So you don't know at the time which eggs are fertilized. You just grab 7 eggs and you put them in the incubator and then hope that, some of them are fertilized. So about a week after you put them in the incubator, you have a chicken light, or you can use a candle in a dark room, but we have a chicken light. It's basically a bright flashlight. And you shine it to the shell, and then you should be able to see like vessels and stuff forming so that you know the chicken is growing. So out of the 7 eggs that we got, I'm like itchy. I'm itchy. So out of the 7 eggs that we put in the incubator, all 7 were fertilized. And even then, there's a danger that they're not going to develop, or when they hatch, they're going to like die because, there's just a lot that can happen. So we had 7 eggs, all 7 were fertilized, all 7 hatched, and now we have 7 baby chicks outside. They literally go from like new egg to hatched in 3 weeks. And they hatched about, how many weeks ago? How many weeks ago did they hatch? Maybe 4 weeks ago. So they're like 4 weeks old. And they're already like pretty big. Maybe next time I make a video, we'll go out there. But they're still small enough that I'm not really sure whether they are boys or girls yet. My husband was like, oh, you can see when they get feathers that if they have, I don't know, based on their feathers, whether they're boys or girls. He thinks that we only have 1 rooster out of the baby chicks. I think he's full of crap. I don't think you can tell. I know they're like professional chicken sexers out there who you can hire to come over and look at your newborn baby chickens and tell you whether they're boys or girls. This is a hobby for us. This isn't a business. I really don't care. So I'm not going to hire a professional like chicken genitalia looker at her to tell me whether I have hens or roosters. I'll just wait till they look like hens or roosters. Obviously, if we have any roosters, we do need to get rid of them because they'll fight and cause a lot of discontent in the coop. But hopefully we have mostly hens because, I mean, you can have numerous hens get along. It's just the roosters that don't. So there is your chicken lesson for today. All started because of my noisy rooster. So you got your stitching and your chicken lesson in one place. And I'll try to maybe... Oh, and you got to see the neutered dog in the beginning too. So, I mean, really, it's a one-stop shop here. So, I have now been filming for over an hour. It is 11:30, and I haven't actually stitched today or cleaned my house. So I'm going to have to go and do one of those things, but thank you for watching. I'm going to hope that my stitchy bug comes back full force. Hopefully get more stuff done, hopefully do more videos, and go from there. So have a great stitching week. Bye.